Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to Norristown Area High School basketball. Tonight we've got a fine game on tap. The Norristown Eagles getting ready to take on Neshaminy. I'm Alan Raleigh along with Bill Werkheiser. And Bill, Norristown coming off a loss to Chester, but I guess it was a loss that most people expected. Chester, of course, the defending District 1 champs.
Yes, I think most people expected it, but in talking to Coach Cresswell, they were very happy with the way the kids played down there in Chester. They got 2 6'9" men in the front line, a lot of experience, and a lot of people are picking them maybe to go all the way again in the state finals.
And the Eagles, of course, only have 2 losses out of their 6 games this year, and both to very fine squads, Williamsport and Chester. So the Eagles have acquitted themselves well. Of course, in their last home contest, a big win over Bishop Kenrick.
Yeah, I think if you're going to lose some good games early in the year, losing them to the better teams is going to do a lot for your club down the stretch, and I think that's what's happened. They're getting good experience, playing the better teams. Win or lose, it's got to help them.
Okay, coming into tonight's ball game, we've seen Darren Queenan, of course, get off to another fine start this season, but it just hasn't been Darren. Wayne Wise has been having a very good year so far. Michael Simpkins also.
Yeah, I think it's been a team effort all the way down the line, which was shown in the Kenrick game, losing Darren for almost a half. They stayed with Bishop Kenrick, a strong team, and when he was back in there down the stretch, he played very well for them.
Okay, now what are we looking at as far as Neshaminy this evening?
Well, I'll tell you what, I probably know more about the coach, Charlie Palesi, than I do their team. But I did see them in the tip-off tournament at Methacton, and they're a green team, very inexperienced, young, and Charlie's looking for the future, I'm sure. They have decent overall size. They have 2 or 3 kids about 6'3", 6'4", but they're very inexperienced. They'll scrap you, they'll battle you, but it's going to take a supreme effort for them to beat Norristown tonight, I believe.
Is this the type of game where the Norristown Eagles have to guard against a letdown in any sense?
Yeah, I found in my experience that when you play a team such as Neshaminy in the state that they're in right now, that you got to be very careful that they don't let down or they take them too lightly. Even if they do win, they want to play well. Or if they, if they play bad and win, it doesn't go down too good with the coach because he doesn't want any bad habits started against a lesser team.
Okay, so we should have a good game on tap here. Norristown against Neshaminy. We'll be back in just a moment for the opening tip. We're just about ready here for the introductions of the starting lineups. This game once again being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District under the direction of Sam Galbraith. Andre Wells serving as cameraman tonight for us. Eagles will of course be in their white uniforms with blue numbers. Meanwhile, Neshaminy in the red uniforms with blue numbers. Number 24, Paul Williams, coming on out right now from Neshaminy. Followed by number 32, Eric Bolrath. And number 21, the guard, Brian Manna. Number 44, Mark McDougall. And number 40, Tim Geisheimer.
This young Paul Williams, a sophomore from Neshaminy, I think is going to be a nice player someday. I saw him again, as I said, at the tip-off tournament with Thackton. He's got some skills. He's going to be a good player.
Of course, number 15, Wayne Wise. Number 24, Michael Simpkins to forwards. Number 13, number 13, Stan Hadrick. Number 5, guard Frankie Dobbs. And number 12, Darren Queenan. Norristown Eagles coached by John Cresswell.
I see where Lou Simpson's dressing tonight, 6'6" senior who played on the junior varsity last year. That would be a real asset if they could get him back into shape and I'm sure he would add something to this squad.
I think Lou suffered a small chip in his ankle during one of the football games, and that's what's been keeping him out of action at this point.
Yes, I think he had a chip bone in his ankle, and he's starting to run pretty well now, but he's certainly not in shape, that's for sure.
Darren Queenan going up for Norristown. Line number 32, Eric Volrath, will handle the duties for the Neshaminy Redskins. Queenan wins the tap. No one there for the Eagles, and coming up with it is Brian Manna, but I think Brian went over the line.
Looks like Neshaminy starting out with a 2-3 zone. I'm sure to help out on the boards, on the defensive boards.
Queenan has it stripped out of his hands, taken by the Redskins.
Norristown in a straight man-to-man. They'll pressure the guards as much as they can and probably be very successful at it.
Manna made a nice play that time after almost losing it.
That sure was. That was a heck of a little play by that guard.
And there you see Queenan missing that shot high off the glass, taken down by Neshaminy.
Tell you what, Neshaminy's going to have to take care of the ball tonight. They can't be driving and trying to dribble past their guards. They're too quick for them. They'll make a lot of steals if they try that.
And Hadrick almost coming up with one there. They go down in the right corner, inside now. Turnaround shot by Volrath, no good. Rebounded by Queenan. Stan Hadrick out to Dobbs. Queenan puts it up from about 14 foot, in and out. Taken down by Tim Geisheimer.
Don't give the ball up like that. That shows some inexperience right there. The guard should never give the dribble up that quick.
They go inside to Williams. His shot partially blocked by Queenan. Now Stan Hadrick the other way has Wayne Wise open. Wise right down through the hole. So the Eagles get their first basket of the ball game. And Wayne Wise has probably been a real pleasant surprise for John Cresswell this year.
He certainly has. He's really going to help him a lot down the stretch. He surprised me too, because I never knew the kid that well and knew how well he played, and he's certainly doing a nice job.
Wayne is 6'2" senior forward for the Eagles.
He gets better every game.
Of course, this is the first game for the Eagles in the Suburban 1 League play this year. They, of course, in the National Division. And Queenan picking it up. Bounce pass intercepted by Manna. Manna and Williams up there for the Redskins. Manna's bounce pass out of bounds.
Last time down when Neshaminy set up, it looks like they were running an offense trying to get the ball down into the baseline with like what we call a baseline shuffle. You watch it, they got the three big men set across the baseline. They're trying to set a pick away from the ball and bring one of the big men to the ball, which they got, but both shots were blocked.
Williams has it on the near side now, goes back to Manna. They haven't been able to work the ball inside successfully. Bounce pass over to Williams. Wayne Wise right there though on top of Williams. Now they trap him in the corner. They go inside. Down low on the baseline, that's number 32, Eric Volrath.
Nice high-low play. Hit that high post, look down to the baseline.
And there the Eagles turn the ball over on the inbounds pass, and Paul Williams connects quickly for another basket.
Okay, looks like Neshaminy's going to do a little full-court pressing after they score. They're a scrappy bunch of kids. They just lack a little skill right now, which will come in with experience.
Well, that press definitely caught Norristown by surprise the last time.
Sure did.
6-2, the Eagles trail here. Frank Dobbs with it. Dobbs puts it off the glass, bounces off, taken down by Neshaminy. Manna with Hadrick right there on him.
It'll set up 3 men along the baseline. Pop a man out.
And Frank Dobbs coming out trying to come up with the steal. The ball's loose on the floor. We've got a race to it, and we've got a whistle.
Number 24, the young Williams kid, he's going to have to get rid of that ball a little bit sooner. Dobbs will strip him all night.
And here's Frank putting it up. Short that time. Hadrick pulling down the rebound. Goes to the glass, and it's good.
Good individual move on Stan's part. There's a 2-2-1 press. They better get it up. They break it.
Oh, and Darren Queenan right there to block that shot off the glass.
That's 3 block shots tonight already for Darren. He's certainly intimidating on defense. I'll tell you, he jumps so well.
Darren averaging around 23 points a game so far this young season. Hadrick coming up with the steal that time. Pass up to Simpkins. First time he's touched the ball tonight. Simpkins right to the hoop.
That was a nice defensive play on Hadrick's part. He anticipated that pass coming to the corner and got right in the passing lane.
Eagles putting on the pressure in the backcourt. Finally, Neshaminy gets it up. McDougal goes inside. That shot, though, blocked by Wise off the glass with a foul.
I'll tell you, the Neshaminy's front line is a big, strong bunch of kids. They're a little unskillful right now, but they're strong kids. Let's see if they go into a press if they make this foul shot. I kind of think that they will.
Eric Bolrath will try to hit his second of 2. And it's through there.
Yeah, they're right into a 1-2-1-1 press. Norristown breaks pretty easy.
Dobbs passed that time, intended for Queenan, but knocked out of bounds.
I think what we're seeing right now is what we talked about before the game started. Maybe Norristown's trying a little bit too hard, or they're a little bit complacent, but they'll get it together soon, I'm sure.
They trail here 7-6, about 3.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Williams gets around Dobbs. His pass bounced out of bounds off one of the Norristown players.
Another thing about a game like this, with a team like Neshaminy, they're working so hard to get done what they have to do, and Norristown just seems very relaxed.
Manna in the corner. He gets it to Williams, pops it from the baseline, off the side. Dobbs coming up with it. There you go, Hadrick, bounce pass to Dobbs. He misses a shot, but he draws the foul. Eagles that time came up with a 4-1 break.
If they get it off, they can go with it. And they're running the break well this year. They're getting the ball in the middle, filling the lanes to the outside, hitting the open man. I'm really impressed with the way Dobbs has been playing this year. I've seen him 2 or 3 times now. He's very consistent, very calm, has a lot of composure out there. He's going to be one of the premier guards in the league, I think. The press is really bothering Neshaminy.
And finally they get it into Bolrath.
Norristown keeps the pressure on. Another steal coming up.
And Williams finally pops one in there. Hadrick's pass, tip. Dobbs coming up with it though. Intended for Queenan, that one's knocked out of bounds. Saved though by Williams right before it goes out. Manna coming up with it. Manna going around Dobbs, who goes for the steal. Manna now goes to the hoop.
That little guy's making a mistake. He's going into the land of the Giants with that ball. He'd have never gotten that shot off. Down this other end, I was watching Big 32. They had close to a turnover. If he'd only reacted and gone to the ball, they'd have gotten the steal. He just sort of froze a little bit.
And Volworth taking an inbound pass, misses it though.
Here they come.
Scott Bishop in there now. Number 20 for Norristown. Gets around his man, puts up the shot, rebounded by Queenan. Darren again. This one short. The Eagles tapping it out. It goes over the line, and Bishop will recover it. Wayne Denson will be checking into the ball game for the Eagles at the next stoppage of play. Bishop, number 20, inside to Simpkins. He puts it in there.
Okay, another thing I like about Hadwick, when he gets that ball in the break, if there's nothing there, he pulls up, brings the ball back out, and sets up the offense. And that's a smart little guard that'll do that. So many young kids want to take it all the way and try to force that layup shot.
McDougal in trouble in the corner, swings it back outside to Mana. About 1:30 left to go in this first quarter. Williams gets by Simpkins, and Williams pops it through.
I think what we're going to see a lot this year, too, is different scouts coming in to see Norristown play with Queenan playing, because a lot of people are interested in him.
And there's Darren right there. Made you look good that time.
I can see why they're interested in him, too.
Well, he's, as we've spoken about before, he really came out of the blue last year, and he's really developed into a much better ball player this season, too.
He sure has, and he's an excellent student in school, too. He's looking to be an engineer someday, so I think, in fact, the Lehigh assistant coach is here tonight. They're very much interested in him.
It's picked off by Mana. He tries to go down in the corner now to Geisheimer. He puts it on the floor, goes back out to Williams now. 40 seconds left. Neshaminy already set up for the last shot, or they go in?
I think they're going to hold it for the last one. I would. Unless I get something like that, which was a nice play. They got that ball down along the baseline. The high post man rolled. He was open. They hit him. They got a three-point play coming up.
And Wayne Denson, number 21, coming on in. Wayne Wise going to the bench for a breather. Of course, it was Wayne's 4 key free throws at the end of the Kendrick game that iced the victory for the Eagles.
Yes, it was. It's surprising, to tell you the truth, because if I'd have been the opponent coach, I think I would have fouled him too. I really thought it was a good foul.
And Bishop shot off the mark. Denson pulling down the rebound, and it goes through.
I tell you, I think John would like to see Wayne come around, because that would be another asset to his squad off the bench. That was a nice little move there by that sophomore. He goes left or right. He's going to be a good player by the time he's a senior.
And a good clean block by Queen in that time on Williams.
That's about 5 for him now.
About 5 seconds left to go here in the quarter. Mana in the corner going to Williams. Baseline. That time it looked like Williams wanted to go inside.
Well, he wanted to, but he dumped it in low. But they never did get the shot off. I think Darren had something to do with that, too. He wasn't a block shot, but he deflected the pass.
Okay, so at the end of the first quarter, we have a tie ball game here at 14.
I'll tell you, Coach Podlesny's kids are hanging pretty tough. They're working very hard. They're against a much better team, a much more skilled team, but they're playing pretty well right now. I'm sure Coach Podlesny's proud of them. They have to be a little intimidated by the name of Norristown and how well they've done and who they've played and how well they played against them. So I'm sure he's very happy with the first quarter. On the other hand, I'm not so sure John is that happy right now. They're not playing bad. They're not turning it over that much, but they're just not converting on the shots that they get.
It's funny how a tie score can be 2 different viewpoints, depending on what side of the bench you're sitting on.
Exactly, exactly.
Coming out for Norristown to begin this second quarter, Queenan, number 12, Bishop, number 20, number 24, Mike Simpkins, number 13, Stan Hadrick, and number 21, Wayne Denson. Number 32, Eric Volrath, going up for the Redskins. Queenan wins it again. Simpkins inside to Bishop. Bishop. Bounce pass was intended for what? Wayne Denson. It was knocked out of bounds. And they're claiming it went off one of the Redskins players.
That would have been a nice pass had that gone through.
Steve Bishop hits the open
Bishop's
shot.
playing well. Bishop's playing very well. He's getting better every game also. He's a little bit inexperienced on the varsity level anyway.
That time the Redskins broke the press and they had a 4-on-2 break. Bounce pass went out of bounds.
That's one of the things that Coach Leslie was telling me before the game, that his kids have a hard time passing the ball, and that's a skill that's got to be worked on an awful lot before it's developed. And they had the break going right there. They had a 3-on-1 and didn't get it because it was a bad pass.
And there you see the Eagles cheerleaders. We have another timeout here. 16-14, Norristown up by 2. Only about 16 seconds gone in the second quarter.
I tell you, I know, knowing Charlie Leslie as long and as well as I do, you can bet in 2 or 3 years his team's going to be competitive. He's been out of it for about 5 years. He gave it up about a year or 2 before I did, and he came back for the first time this year in 5 years, and he's starting from the bottom. But I've seen him do this before, and in time he's going to have a very competitive team at Neshaminy.
Hadrick losing control of it there. Manna bringing it up. Brian Manna, 5'9", junior guard for Neshaminy, with it in his hands right now. Over to Williams. Pass taken by McDougal. Neshaminy still in there with their starting 5. And the Eagles come up with it, but they say that Mike Simpkins went over the line.
The Williams kid's hustling. He's hustling on defense. He's making some good moves on the offensive side, too.
And number 22, John Ward, checking into the ball game now as Mike Simpkins takes a rest.
John had an excellent junior varsity career last year and started the first couple games, but just hasn't gotten it all together yet. But I'm sure he will, and if he does, it's another asset for John, bringing another man off the bench.
Williams not bashful about putting it up. That one's off the mark, though. Down the other end, Queenan. Oh, around the rim and out.
You know, it's funny, we're watching a team tonight that's given Norristown a lot more trouble on the boards than a team like Kenry did last week. And they're an experienced ball club. Of course, they're not as big as Neshaminy, but they're giving Norristown all they can handle on the boards.
Queenan has it knocked out of his hands. We've got a whistle. It's being blown on number 44, Mark McDougal.
I think one of the things I'm sure the college coach is going to like about Darren, once he gets that ball, he faces up to the basket right away, and they look for things like that.
Ward with it now in the corner. Coming back out, Bishop takes the shot off the backside of the rim. Hadrick recovering it before it goes out of bounds. And Darren Queenan and Steve Bishop combined to save that one.
Good save.
And Bishop passed to Hadrick, but Hadrick was breaking the other way that time.
Yeah, I think I wasn't a real good pass by young Steve Bishop. Again, inexperienced, a little over-anxious maybe. He knew the man was open, just didn't get it to him.
(16-14), the Eagles up. They have Volrath down low. His shot no good. Saved by Frank Dobbs right in the hands of John Ward. Ward has Denson on the other side. Ward going right to the hoop. Foul on Ward.
That's what I like to see from a little guard like that. It took a lot of guts for him to take that driving lane away from Ward. Stood there and took the blow. I'll tell you nothing about Neshaminy down this end. They're executing their offense very well at times. They're looking to get the ball down on the baseline and dump to the man in the high post. What we used to call a high-low play. There it is again.
That time, Frank Dobbs comes up with it, but it's stolen right out of his hands, and Paul Williams comes up with it. Good defense that time in Neshaminy.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
And the Redskins are battling the Eagles tough here tonight. 16 all, 5 minutes to go in the first half. Queenan loses it, and he's called for traveling.
Darren looks a little tender tonight. He wants to go to the basket when he gets that ball. Maybe he's trying a little bit too hard.
Neshaminy patient on offense.
They're getting the ball where they want into the key, and the young man isn't quite sure yet what to do with it. Once you get in there, you should face the basket also and look for that man down along the baseline. That's the purpose of the high-low play.
Okay, number 14, Marvin Rouse into the ball game for Norristown as Darren Queenan taking the breather. Ward's shot bounces high. Wayne Denson comes up with it and puts it through.
He puts a lot of muscle onto that board, I tell you. He's got an excellent jumping ability, too. He's really not that big.
Now you just take one look at the thighs Denson has. Incredible strength in the legs. Anybody that's seen him play football knows that much. I guess the recruiters will be knocking down his doors for a couple more months.
I'm sure of that. Look at him get up in the air on that rebound.
And Frank Dobbs.
You didn't know better, you think he was about 6'6".
Ward's pass intended for Denson, but he was out of position. Williams has his pocket picked this time by Dobbs. Down the Ward to Denson, down low on the baseline.
Norristown just not converting on the opportunities they're getting on fast breaks. They're just not getting it down, so to speak. Maybe one pass too many, I don't know.
It's almost like they're playing a little out of sync here, and they've had the fast break opportunities.
A little bit, yep. Nothing about a game like this. Everybody wants to do the job. Everybody wants to do the big job, yeah.
And Coach Cresswell is not hesitant to go deep to his bench too tonight. Meanwhile, in the Neshaminy still in there with their starting five. They played the entire first half up to this point.
They're controlling the tempo of the game right now, and they're doing exactly what they want to do. I'll tell you what, I saw Charlie's team do this against PW down at the Palestra several years ago, and he just took PW right out of the game by controlling the tempo of the game.
And speaking of PW, we have a halftime guest coming up.
Yes, we do. Mr. Hank Stofko. As everybody knows, just broke the district record for the most wins of coaches.
Eagles up by 4 here. That shot tipped in there that time by Eric Volrath.
Excuse me, shot. Hey, anything can happen if you keep that ball alive. Jordan, Michael Jordan. Michael.
And number 23, Mike Jordan, checking into the ball game. Mike, a 6'1" junior swingman.
Michael was hurt early in the year also with a bad ankle injury. He's starting to come around again. Shows a lot of potential.
So right now we've got Mike Williams, number 23, Steve Bishop, number 20 at the line. Wayne Denson, 21, Stan Hadrick, 13, and number 14, Marvin Rouse, as we've got a timeout taken here by Neshaminy.
Well, we have an entirely different lineup than we're used to in here for Norristown tonight. It's I don't know whether it's a strategic move by John to wake the starters up or what, but he didn't hesitate to do it, and that shows good judgment. Sometimes you got to wake the guys up to play most of the time and get the subs in there. Speaking of Stocko, he brings his squad up here next Thursday, which should prove to be an excellent basketball game because he's got a good squad this year as usual, and he's also got a blue chipper down there in Grady Minnick. He's an excellent player. A lot of the colleges are looking at him also.
Colonials at this point off to a 5-1 start. Of course, they're in the American Conference Spur 1 League, and I'm sure this place is going to be packed.
I would think so. Usually when Norristown PW get together, it's a pretty big crowd. I'm not so sure it'll be like it used to be in the old days because of the trend nowadays with the spectators, but I'm sure we'll have a nice crowd here next week.
And Bishop hits his second from the line. So it's 22-18. The Eagles up here by 4. But Neshaminy playing awfully well tonight. The Eagles press in the backcourt. Williams misses a shot. And Hadrick whistled there.
Well, there it is again. They serve the purpose with the press. They get a turnover by Neshaminy. They get a good shot. They still don't get it down. And if you're going to press and get turnovers, you got to convert the baskets. You got to get those 2 points.
And coming back in now for Norristown, number 12, Darren Guinan, number 5, Frankie Dobbs, as Rouse and Hadrick take a seat on John Crosswell's bench. And Queenan skying up there for the rebound.
Well, he has a great vertical jump. I don't know what it is, but he jumps like a kid about 6'7", 6'8". He might present a problem for a Division I coach. I'm not so sure. He's certainly not going to be a point guard or maybe a second guard. But I was just talking to the coach from Lehigh, and they visualize him as maybe in the three, as they call the 3 spot, which is in between a guard and small forward spot, swing spot, whatever you want to call it. And they feel that he could do that job very well.
The thing about Darren is that he's only going to get better. I mean, you just look at the differences between this year and last year. Now he puts the ball on the floor much better ball handler.
Well, I'll tell you what, Neshaminy is executing that very, very well. You can see they're well schooled on it. And it's a simple, basic, high-low play.
And Williams' shot is short, bounces into the hands of Denson. Power move to the hoop, no good. Denson gets his own rebound, fakes, puts it through, and gets a chance for the three-pointer.
Second effort got him the basket. He kept after it. He wasn't going to quit until he got it down. He takes a lot of room up inside, and he jumps very well, so he's going to be an asset. He looks a little bit bushed right now. Maybe he's not quite in shape yet for basketball.
And Wayne nails it.
Well, that's 5 for 5 from the foul line for Wayne. 4 in a row last week, and this one.
And Williams getting trapped in the backcourt. Norristown coming up with the turnover, but Williams misses the easy bucket, gets his own rebound. The pass is slapped away. Queenan up there in there and pulls it down.
Yeah, the press is really bothering Neshaminy now.
And we've got a push call on Wayne Denson. So they'll walk it the other way. Neshaminy will be going to the line.
Yeah, I'm sure John doesn't like to see that. The press is bothering him without being too aggressive and too physical, so they don't have to foul. They're turning it over anyway.
And number 30, Tom Waterbore, a 6-foot sophomore into the game, is at the line. Also into the game for the Redskins, Mickey Ford, number 5, 5'11" guard. Now the Eagles with a little spurt. It opened up an 8-point lead. Neshaminy has a chance to cut it to 6 here if they hit this one. And it falls short. Darren Queenan pulling it down. Minute and a half left to go here in the first half. Bishop runs in the crowd of red. Moves back to Williams. Dobbs cutting across the lane now. Williams goes down to Dobbs in the corner. Dobbs now open on the baseline. Puts it up, and it's good. Nothing but net.
Bishop handles himself very well out front with the ball. He's an intelligent young man. He knows the game. Plays very well out front.
And Williams coming up with a steal that time. The basket wasn't any good, but he did draw the foul.
I'll tell you, this kid on the line, I think, if he comes around, is going to be a big help to John. Michael has a lot of skills, and he can play the game. And again, having 7, 8, 9 guys on the bench you can count on is going to be a help to you down the road, too.
Nice shot that time. 31-21. The Eagles have now opened up a 10-point lead. 1 minute to go in the first half.
Coach Lesney's trying to get somebody in the middle of that press, which is the way to break it. But nobody. The kids are a little bit tentative and to react to the press and get somebody in there. Most coaches tell you want to beat the press, get the ball to the center, especially this type of press that John's playing. 1-2, 1-1. It's similar to a 1-2-2 zone at the other end of half court. So, and that's the way to beat that type of zone too, getting inside to the middle.
Williams finds Denson down low. Denson puts on a good move there and gets it through.
Nice play, very nice play.
And a good play by Williams there. He could pass up the shot, saw Denson at the last moment.
That's another way to beat the zone, send somebody through. And they sent Jordan through from the right wing. Got the ball in the corner, he dumped it in low to Denson, we got 2 points. 25
seconds left to go here in the first half. It's 33-23.
I'm sure Charlie will go for the last shot right now. If he goes in, you know, only 8 points down, I think he'll be very happy.
Oh, and a key
there's a turnover, yep. Passing's a big problem with Charlie's kids.
About 8 seconds ago, they go inside the Queen and turnaround shot. Bounces off the backside of the rim. 4 seconds left. Neshaminy will have to rush it up here. Paul Williams with it. No chance for that one. So at the half, Norristown up here 33-23. And we'll be back in just a moment with our halftime interview featuring Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials coach Hank Stofko. Okay, we're here at halftime. I'm Alan Raleigh along with Bill Werkheiser, along with Plymouth Whitemarsh coach Hank Stofko. And of course, you just set a record to find the winningest coach in the District 1 play, 526 wins. That has to be a load off your back, finally getting that one to break the record.
I appreciate you saying that. It is a load. I'm sort of tired of it, and I like to see all the hullabaloo die down. I don't think we even would have known anything about it except one of our teachers at school, Jane Raysnarter, one day said, "How many wins do you have?" I said, "I don't know." And she did the checking up. I hope she's correct or we got a little problem again. But, you know, when you stay in coaching at the high school level, I've been in 33 years, 31 at the high school level, you're bound to get a few wins. And what we don't know, I may have set a record for the most losses. So we got to be careful about what we're saying here.
I kind of doubt that, Henry. I kind of doubt that.
A dubious record either way.
Yeah.
But as far as now your Colonials, you're bringing up to Norristown Thursday night on the 22nd. This year you're off to a good start already, 5-1.
Yes, I'm pleased with the 5-1. We played at Abington. We played a very, very poor game. I'm sorry, but Abington made us play a poor game. As so many people don't really realize, when you play poorly, it's usually the other coach who's making you play poorly. And Jim Wilkinson, he gave us fits that night. He had them better prepared than we did. But our league is very interesting. Right now, I project 5 teams are in it. Wissahickon with everyone back, Cheltenham, Upper Moreland, Upper Dublin, which is a surprise team so far, and ourselves, I hope, are in it. So it's going to be an interesting league.
Is this one of the more balanced, as the buzzer goes off here, and as far as the area teams, is this one of the better years, more balanced years around here?
I think so. Even in the other division with Norristown, Truman, and Abington, I think there's going to be, I don't know who's going to win it. Where most years you almost always project one team, they're going to win it. But I don't think this year you can say that. A lot of good teams.
Hank, just one question. How do you feel about the breakdown of the leagues as they are now? If I was still coaching, it wouldn't seem the same not playing PW twice a year. I don't know, the rivalry just doesn't seem to be there the way it used to be.
There's no question. I don't understand sometimes how things break down. I mean, rivalries, I think, are a little more important sometimes than numbers in the school and so forth and so on. But then I don't understand all the new rules that are made with 2 timeouts for a coach. I think it's the most ridiculous rule I ever heard of. So I do miss the old rivalries, believe me.
One other question. When you stopping?
Well, I'm going to retire soon, and I think I'll stop then. Maybe I'll take up girls. I don't know.
Good luck.
Coaching, I mean, by the way.
Good luck to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, and we're just about ready here for the opening tap of the second half. Darren Queenan winning it for the Eagles. Frank Dobbs losing it. And Brian Manna coming it up with for Neshaminy. We'll give you the starting lineups in just a moment. Norristown here, 33-23. They have a 10-point lead going into this third quarter. Out there for the Eagles, number 5, Frank Dobbs, and Stan Hadrick, number 13. Front court, we've got number 24, Mike Simpkins, along with number 15, Wayne Wise, and number 12, the man in the middle, Darren Queenan. The ball loose on the floor. Frankie Dobbs coming up with it now. Dobbs going to Hadrick. Hadrick popping it off the glass. Norristown getting an opening bucket of this second half. And we'd like to thank Coach Hank Stofko for stopping by here. Of course, Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials and the Norristown Eagles will take to the court Thursday night, December 22nd. I'm sure there's going to be a good crowd here at Norristown Gymnasium. Out there right now for Neshaminy. I'll give you the lineup in just a second. Number 21, guard Brian Manna. Number 24, Paul Williams. Inside they go to number 44, Mark McDougall. His shot bounces off the rim. Also out there, number 32, Eric Volrath. And number 40, Tim Geisheimer. Strange first half. The Eagles, on paper at least, you would think that they have a much bigger lead than their 10 points, and that's kind of deceiving because Neshaminy played a well-controlled ball game. They stayed within their limits, and they did a good job on the boards, especially against Norristown. And Hadrick coming up with the steal. They go in for two. So now it's 39-23, and that quickly the Eagles have expanded a 10-point lead to 16.
Real quick, Alan, if I can give you the stats for the first half, we had Queenan with 7, Dobbs 4, Simpkins 4, Wise 2, Bishop 6, Jordan 1, and Wayne Denson coming in with 9. In the Neshaminy, we have Geisheimer 2, McDougall 3, Manna 2, Volrath 7, Williams 8, the sophomore with 8, and Waterboard 1.
So Wayne Denson coming off the bench, the top scorer for the Eagles in that first half, 9 key points.
I'm sure John's very happy with that.
McDougall fighting for it. Tranky Dobbs coming up with it, has Queenan in the middle, going over to Hadrick on the right side, and Hadrick brings it through.
Got 3 baskets for them this half already, Hadrick, right?
Yeah, that's right, three baskets. And Hadrick coming up with the steal there. He loses it momentarily. Eagles in control. Frankie Dobbs right there. Misses the easy shot. Dobbs pulling down his own rebound and puts it through.
Yeah, Charlie needs a timeout real quick.
Well, the Eagles have reeled off 10 straight points to blow this game open. Now it's a 20-point Norristown lead.
About a minute and 30 seconds, they go from 10 down to 20 down. That hurts. That hurts.
Well, you had to figure if they came out here, they got a couple quick baskets, cut it down to 8 or 6 points, and it was a different ball game. But
yeah, I'm sure Charlie told his kids that the first 2-3 minutes of the second half was going to be a big factor, and I'm sure he didn't expect to see something like this happen. When you're playing against a good team and you're still in the ball game, the beginning of the second half is vitally important. You got to be very careful. You keep your composure, you don't get out of control, and you stay as close as you can until you get that adrenaline flowing again.
You know, the Eagles have come out here and played with a lot more intensity, and I guess cohesiveness would be a good word for it here.
Yeah, good word for it.
It's the only one I could think of at the moment.
It was the right one.
Williams has it now for Neshaminy. Williams, right side of the key, finds an opening, puts it up. A little too hard, in and out. McDougall, though, pulling down the rebound. Manna setting things up. They've got Volrath down on the baseline. Frank Dobbs going for the steal, almost coming up with it. Saved in the corner by Neshaminy. They try to go to Volrath. He doesn't see it, and it rolls out of bounds. Turnover on Neshaminy. Hadrick bringing it on up. Frankie Dobbs inside to Wayne Wise. He's fouled from behind.
That was nice ball movement on that sequence right there with Norristown. They moved the ball from right to left, hit into the high post. I'm sure if he'd have turned and looked at the basket, he might have gotten that shot off, although he got fouled.
Substitution for the Redskins, number 20, Scott Bell, a 6'3" senior forward into the game now. Queenan with the tap.
Gets way up for the tip in. That was a set play also. They got the shot that they wanted.
And there's the Eagles pressing once again in the backcourt. They have Volrath down on the near side. It's 45-23. Eagles right now. 4.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Wayne Wise coming up with the steal. That one was telegraphed. Wise right to the hoop. Wasn't pretty, but it counted for 2.
I could see that steal coming from one side to the other. Wise anticipated the pass very well. Good block. It was an excellent block with Queenan. Simpkins got the foul.
misses his first. We'll have a second shot here. One for two. 47-24. Queenan going in by himself that time. Runs in traffic, but he gets to draw the foul.
Norristown had the ball up court before Neshaminy got back into defense that time. That's another thing that John wanted to do this year. Push the ball up the floor as fast as possible. Try to beat the defense up.
Ballworth was going for the ball that time.
Ballworth is about 6'4". He made a bad mistake that time. The big guy got the ball off the backboard, brought it down to his knees. Hadley took it right out of his hands. And that's a cardinal sin when you take a rebound off. You just keep that ball up in the air and kick it out.
Ferocious press that time by the Eagles.
Get a little sloppy now.
Dobbs, Queenan now on the right side of the key, drives into the hoop, misses it. He'll be going to the line.
Yeah, I think Darren's going to spend a lot of time in the line this second half because he's taking it right to the basket as soon as he gets it.
And it bounces through. 49-24.
Darren has excellent shooting technique. Coach McGee from Textiles here also tonight, and he's probably one of the better shooting instructors around at summer camps and clinics, and I'm sure that he would like Darren's style. He holds his follow through to the ball's through.
Oh, a long-range bomb that time. But you know, it's interesting you say that about Darren because I know last year he had most of the Norristown squad had problems at the line last year, but especially Darren, and he changed his delivery 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he's following through. He's staying right with it. He's not pulling that string anymore.
And Hadrick coming up the steal behind the back pass lead. Wayne Wise saves it. Queenan underneath the hoop and gets 2. Well, that was out of the schoolyard. Manna driving it down, looking for someone, finally finds Williams. Neshaminy slowing it down here, moving the ball around. Williams doesn't have the shot, puts it on the ground, loses it.
There's a case where the young man had the shot and didn't take it. Then he tried to force one and he got knocked out of bounds. He should have taken the shot when he had it. But he'll learn that in time. That's one thing about young kids. They have to learn when to and when not to.
You know, amazingly, Norristown has outscored Neshaminy here 21-3 in this third quarter. Just blowing the game wide open.
They blitzed him right off the bat. To tell you the truth, I really felt myself it was a matter of time that it happened.
You're just surprised it took this long.
That's right.
And Bishop open for the shot, puts it through. Williams getting it up now. Dobbs going for the steal, reaching in. He's whistled for the foul. And Wayne Denson will be coming back into the game now.
There's another thing. In a situation like this right now, you can be sure Norristown's going to try to take a lot of chances, try to get steals and get those baskets because the game's well in hand now. Especially your guards. They're going to try to steal, not worry about fouling out, things like that. They're going to want the ball.
And the break this time. Queenan to Bishop. Bishop's pass intended for Wise.
He had a good idea. He just didn't get it there, that's all.
And at the other end, let's see, that was number 44. Mark McDougall going in for the layup. Dobbs pulling up for the long-range jumper. It's short, bounced around there by Wise. He keeps it alive. and taken down by Queen, and he's on the ground, and he's called for traveling.
Wise got 4 tips at that basket. He kept after it. His jumping ability is good. His jumping technique is good. He what we used to call touch and go. He doesn't hit and stay there. He bounces off those toes. He just keeps right on after it.
You know, the Eagles aren't blessed with great size along the front line, but in another respect they are because of the leaping ability of Wise and Queenan.
That's exactly right.
Air ball that time by Williams. Volworth tries to recover Queenan coming down. Dobbs to Queenan. Darren misses the easy hoop.
Now, I'm surprised at that. I haven't seen Darren do that too often. He usually takes that thing up there very strong.
Minute left to go in this third quarter. Another air ball. Volworth recovers though on the baseline for the Redskins. Inside to McDougal. McDougal shot swatted away that time by Queenan.
I guess Darren must have 7 or 8 black shots tonight. You know, even though they're getting beat pretty badly, this has got to help Neshaminy a little bit, as long as they don't let the morale get down.
And of course, when they leave this ball game, the first half they played Norristown pretty much even.
Played them very well. Now, you're playing one of the better teams in the area when you're playing Norristown this year. And they're rebuilding.
Do you have any idea the last time Norristown had a losing season?
Yes, it was my second year of coaching, as a matter of fact. I was 7-15, 19 season of 66, 67, I believe it was. That's the last one that I remember.
Yeah, there hasn't.
Yeah, since then. That was the only losing year we had when I was here. And I know John hasn't had any since.
That's not a bad 20 years.
A long time. Almost 20 years since they've had a losing season.
And then the 3, it's 58-28. Norristown out in front. Norristown 25 points in that third quarter. For Neshaminy, a total of 5.
Yeah, that first 2 minutes just put Neshaminy out of the ball game. Yeah, and Norristown outscored Neshaminy that quarter 25-5. And about two-thirds of that was the first 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. 10 straight points they reeled off.
Exactly right. That kind of thing will put you out of the ball game real fast. And I'm sure Coach Podlesny was concerned with those first few minutes of the second half. Unfortunately, what he did want to happen happened. You know, you don't build a program back up again overnight. It takes time. I don't care who you are. The best coaches in the world don't move into a program that's been down and expect to do it overnight, especially if you don't have the talent there to work with. I think that's proven over and over again with some of your big college coaches that have great reputations. If they don't have the horses, they just don't win. That's all.
Yeah, it's still the players out on the floor that have to produce for you.
That's exactly right.
Queenan wins it. Bishop taking it now for the Eagles. Bishop, Hadrick, Denson, Queenan, and Mike Simpkins, number 24 in there for the Eagles. Queenan to Bishop. Number 5, Mickey Ford. Bang, whistled there for the foul.
The young Bishop's playing another fine game off the bench. He's going to be a big help. That's one of the things I like about Norristown this year. They have 3 good, solid guards. Don't try to force the ball from outside too much. They move the ball, they pass the ball, and they're looking for the open man. When the shot's there, they'll take it. When you have 3 guards like that, you're going to win.
Norristown's always had an abundance of good, quick guards.
Right now, Norristown's back into a straight 1-2-2 zone. I kind of think John's going to just coach through with this type of defense. Maybe pull the press off because he's not going to try to embarrass anybody.
Bishop shovels it to Denson.
Great penetration, great handoff.
Bishop in the corner loses control for a second. Hadrick goes around him, bounce over to Simpkins, has the open move and takes it.
I'll tell you what, I think we're going to see a great ball game next Thursday up here because of the rivalry, and they're both excellent basketball teams. I can't wait till next week.
And Williams signaling for a timeout for Neshaminy. So Coach Stofko didn't like that 2 timeout rule per half anymore either, did he?
I don't think you're going to find too many coaches that do like it, Al. And if they can cut the timeouts down to 4 if they want, but why not let them carry over? I mean, Coach Palese tonight had a situation where early in the 3rd quarter he had to call a timeout because of the situation. Now, that's his last timeout for the night. If he was in the ball game, it really hurts when you get down to the last 2-3 minutes when you really need a timeout, because there's times where you have to call a timeout either to discipline or make some strategic changes. And I tell you the truth, I don't think it'll be around next year. I'll be very surprised if they stay with that rule.
Sure, in a tight ball game, you're going down the last couple of minutes. It's tough to plan your strategy when you can't take that breather.
Exactly.
60-30 now. About 7 minutes to go in the game. This game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District under the direction and production of Sam Galbraith and Tony Koya. Andre Wills doing a fine job tonight running camera for us. And that time was number 44, Mark McDougall, popped from the outside.
He was a young man who was hurt when I saw him play against Perk Valley up in the tip-off tournament with Acton. And I kind of think that Coach Palese feels that he might be his best player, but he's not quite in shape yet either. He had a bad ankle injury.
Hadrick, pass intended for Queenan on the inbounds, picked off though. Mickey Ford with it, tries to go inside, bounced away by Queenan. Simpkins coming up with it. 4-on-2 Norristown break. Hadrick goes in for the easy 2. Stan's going to the basket a lot more this evening.
He sure is. It's going to do him a lot of good tonight too, because he hasn't been too much of an offensive threat, and it'll give him a little confidence in his shooting. I don't think he's considered one of the better shooters on the squad, but after tonight it might change.
And save right in the hands of Hadrick. Queenan now. Queenan right around Williams to the hoop, and that time he made sure he got it.
I have a feeling before this night, so we're going to see Darren stuff one.
Air ball that time. Recovered down low. That was number 15, Mike Talmuri. And he was belted, so he'll be going to the line. Wayne Wise back into the game as Mike Simpkins taking a seat. And checking in for Neshaminy, that's number 20, Tom Witterbore. Correction, make that number 20, Scott Bell. And Queenan going to the line now for a chance for a 3-pointer.
Dave Bishop likes to pass that ball into Darren, and he does it quite often. He made a nice pass to Darren that time, the low post. Darren takes it up on a power move. He's got 2. Big guys like to see a guard that like to pass it inside.
Okay, let's see, it's 67-34, about 5:20 to go. Norristown in control of this one. Williams open for it, but he misses it. Volworth with the rebound. Volworth puts it in over Denson.
Nice move by the big guy. Who's that, Cochran?
No, that's Eric Volworth, 6'4".
Volworth, yes.
see, coming into the game now for Norristown, number 4, Walter Queenan.
That's Darren's brother. Nice little guard.
And here comes Walter Queenan bringing it right up now. 5'9" senior guard. Swings it over to his brother. And Darren pops it. Darren can have a field day out there now.
I kind of think Darren's getting the field right now. He wants that ball.
I think he's coming off, what, a 30-point performance against
I
Chester?
think he had 28 or 29. Yeah, an excellent game down there.
And Queenan at the other end.
Double dribble. And he got technical, too.
Yeah, he said the magic word that time, and he got whistled for the tee.
I think that young man got a little overzealous and had a few choice words for Jimmy Beatty, the referee. He got a technical on him.
And Frank Dobbs will be going to the line to shoot the tee for the Eagles.
It's only a one-shot technical, too.
But the Eagles retain possession. Queenan with it, Walter Queenan. Mike Williams now in the ball game, number 23, has control of it. Dobbs on the baseline, looking for some help, goes back to Queenan, to Williams outside, top right of the key. Queenan getting pressured, going inside the Wise, bounce pass to Dobbs.
Well, that would have been a nice play if it worked. It was a nice backdoor pass by Wise for Dobbs cutting to the basket. Just a little slow developing, that's all.
70-36. And Williams breaking that one up. Long lead pass to Wayne Wise going in, and he puts it down.
Getting better every game, that young man. He's going to open up some eyes for some college coaches on the maybe Division III level.
Queenan over to Dobbs. Oh, nice pass, Dobbs to
Very
Williams.
nice pass, very nice pass. He looked left and passed to the right.
And Volrith relays it in.
Frankie's got all the tools to help a small school someplace.
He reminds me a lot of Kerry Mayo, who's played here a couple years ago.
Yes, he does. Well, we're seeing Big Lou Simpson come in now for the first time. See how he runs on this ankle.
Lou, 6'6". Matter of fact, what does Lou go? I think he's 6'6".
Yeah, he's 6'6". And about 215, 220, I guess.
A lightweight.
I'll tell you what, he could lose a little bit for this game right here, but for football, he's probably what they want.
Lou, of course, tight end on the Eagles this year.
We have some subs from Neshaminy, a young Cochran boy. His dad is the coach at Pennsbury High School, who we spoke to at halftime.
And it's 76-38 now. Taken down by Lou. Lead pass to Mike Williams. Williams going to the basket. Simpson right there with the rebound.
Excuse me, Jordan was the one that took that ball to bed. I didn't mean to go. 23 is Michael Jordan. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Did you say Williams?
No, Jordan.
Oh, I thought you said Williams. I beg your pardon. Okay.
Or maybe I did say Williams. That could have been
Williams,
possible.
Yeah.
It's been a long evening.
Well, there's been a lot of Williamses go through here. I can understand that, and some good ones.
But Jordan's played a lot better here in the second half than he has in the first. Settled down a lot more.
He's going to be a good player. That was a bad pass there, but he comes around, he'll help him off the bench.
That's right, Jim Williams. I was thinking what Jim Williams went on to Star Temple.
That's exactly, yeah. Of course, his younger brother Henry played for me for 3 years and probably was one of the best players Norristown's had, if not the best.
That was what, back in 70, 71, that time period?
69 to 71, yep.
Jordan back to Queenan now. Walter Queenan inside to Marvin Rouse.
Then we have a 3-second violation. Look at the size of this guy coming in here. He looks like a middle linebacker.
Let's see, that's number, check this out, number 45, Rich Mitchell, 6'2" senior. Outside shot by Tom Waterboard there. 76-40, less than a minute to go in this ball game. Jordan on the baseline, or on the far side, I should say, driving to the hoop. He's fouled.
Would you say he took that to the basket?
Yeah. He had one thing in his mind.
One thing in his mind is right. Almost accomplished it, too.
Coach Cresswell's gotten his entire bench in there this evening.
Well, that's the one thing good about this type of game. You get a chance for the substitutes to play, you know?
Sure, and then you get a chance to see who you can rely on when you got to get into problems.
I'm not so sure it's the type of game that John would like to have before PW, but he did find some things out tonight with his substitutes, I'm sure.
It's got to be a welcome break, though, between after having Kenrick, Chester, and then PW next.
I don't know. It might seem that way, but a coach that wants to get his team ready for league play and for the big ones, they want to be sharp, and the way to be sharp and the way to get sharp is to play good competition. I'll never forget in '71 when we went to the state final and played Shenley when they had Lucas. We won the Eastern final playing a Williamsport team that was, not taking anything away from them, but that was a very, very weak team. 4 or 5 teams in our league that year could have beaten them, and it was one of those playoff situations where they got into the final, and it was really an easy game for us. It was a shame being an Eastern final game. It should have been a much tougher game. So, and then the next week we go up and play probably one of the best teams in the country, and we just weren't ready for it. That game didn't help us.
What was Maurice Lucas like then?
Same way he is now. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, they had a lot to go with him too. They had Ricky Coleman, who was an All-American guard, that went to Jacksonville with Henry Williams, and they had a young kid named Ajib Kelly that went out to Las Vegas and Nevada, and he was only a sophomore at that time, but a great, great player. And then they had 2 other outstanding players. So that was a fine basketball team. In fact, a few years ago, they did a survey throughout the state of Pennsylvania, which was the 10 best PIA state champions, and Shenley was picked as the number 2 team in the history of the PIA. Number 1 team was Ambridge when they had young Dick DiVenzio and Dennis Wycheck, and that was a great team. But Shenley was picked as 2nd team, and Fifth Avenue, who we played in '76, was picked as the 4th best team. So nothing like going up there and playing at one of the top 5.
Let's see, 75, 76, that's when you had John Bates.
Bates, Fargo, my son Mark, Joey Haddock, Wayne Gardner, Jimmy Mobley, Wayne Sanders. We had a nice team. They played very, very well together. They had that intangible of the chemistry that you need between 5 people to win. They played very well together.
Let's see, just about 10 seconds left to go here. Walter Queenan having it. Walter right to the hoop. Mike Jordan there, pulling it down. 3 seconds left. Neshaminy up with his last second shot. Too late. And so we've got a final score. Norristown 77, Neshaminy 42. We'll be back in just a minute with the post-game show. Well, it was Norristown 77, Neshaminy 42 in tonight's ball game, and of course, it was a good one for both squads. I guess if you look at it at different viewpoints, in the first half, Neshaminy played a good ball game and really, kept close to Norristown.
Sure, I think Coach Padlin is probably very proud of his kids, the way they played the first half. Like I said, the first 2 minutes of the second half was vitally important to Neshaminy, and unfortunately, Norristown came out with a press and they turned the ball over just too many times. And at that point, I think Neshaminy had to dig deep, and then when they were doing that, they would turn the ball over again, and it was just a matter of time before Norristown put them away. Statistically, we had Darren Queenie with 25 tonight, and I might say a quiet 25. It didn't seem like he had that many. Hadwick had 10. Denson came in early in the game, pitched in with 9 points. Bishop played an excellent game in the backcourt, had 8. Dawes played his usual steady game. He had 7. Simpkins 6. Wise, and again, I just can't get over this kid. I think he's doing a great job. He had 6 also. Jordan came in off the bench with 4, and Walter Queenan had 2. For Neshaminy, we had Volrath with 13, Williams 10, McDougall 7, Waterboro 4, Manna 2, Gersheimer 2, Ford 1, and Palmieri 2. And again, it can't help Neshaminy's team playing against a team like Norristown. It's going to do them a lot of good, even though they got beat by as many as they did. Norristown, on the other hand, I'm sure they'd like to have a tougher contest before a Ben Salem or a PW game, but I'm sure it helped them in this respect. They were able to get a lot of the players off the bench, and I'm sure John saw some good things from the bench.
Coach Cresswell cleared the entire bench, and it was balanced scoring all the way down the line after Queenan's 25 points, too. Okay, so it was a good ball game for Norristown. They won tonight 77-42, and of course a big one on the horizon, a local matchup. Plymouth Whitemarsh will be right here at Norristown's Gymnasium on the 22nd, which is Thursday night, so make sure you come on out. For Bill Werkheiser, I'm Alan Raleigh. This game was brought to you by the Norristown Area School District under the direction and production of Tony Koya and Sam Galbraith, and we'd like to thank Andre Wills, who did a fine job tonight running camera for us. So take care, everyone, and make sure you watch your Norristown School Access channel, their message board, to see when the next televised Norristown basketball game will be. Take care, everyone.